Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
Your weekend is not complete without the First Lady of New York Radio. It's the Joan Hamburg Show. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
One of the most interesting women I know is the legendary Chita Rivera. 3 times Chita won a Tony. She was a Kennedy Center honoree. She was a recipient of the best of all, the Presidential Medal of Freedom. She's got an amazing story, born Dolores. But there were always 2 sides to Dolores. There was Chita, who describes herself as dark and ferocious and always ready, and one of the most influential players when it comes to Broadway and everything else. And Chita, who is known all over the world, has written her memoir just called Chita. And it's fascinating, this woman's life and what happened to her, the people she knew who came along for the ride, Sammy Davis Jr., one after another, whom she had intense relationships for. I know this is something you're going to enjoy, and I was really happy. I have not interviewed her in a long time, and Chita must be pushing, 90 now? And she is an amazing woman, gifted and sharp and funny, and more stories to tell than almost anyone I know. So come on and join the Joan Hamburg Show, Sunday starting at 2 o'clock. And a special treat this week, the long-awaited for memoir of the one and only Chita Rivera.
Get into your body's vitals with the Vitals app on Apple Watch.
I wanna get into my body and let my skin do the talking. I wanna feel like I'm myself again.
The Vitals app tracks key overnight metrics so you can spot changes in your health before you feel them. The Vitals app on Apple Watch. iPhone XS or later required. The Vitals app is for wellness purposes only and not for medical use.
USAA knows dynamic duos can save the day, like superheroes and sidekicks, or auto and home insurance. With USAA, you can bundle your auto and home and save up to 10%. Visit USAA.com/bundle.
Bundle savings are off total premium, not available in all states or in all situations. To qualify, auto policy must be active prior to property policy issue, subject to change. Restrictions apply. Membership eligibility and product restrictions apply and are subject to change. USAA means United Services Automobile Association and its affiliates, San Antonio, Texas.
The First Lady of New York Radio.
This is Joan Eats.
Why not make Mother's Day easy? You know what I'm going to tell you to do? You can cook if you like, but order your mama perfect breakfast sent right to your front door. And then all you have to do is brew the coffee, put some flowers in a vase, and put one of these ready-to-serve breakfasts on a tray. Breakfast in bed. Now, this was a surprise when I started researching this. Katz's Deli, for $115, free shipping, New York bagels, premium Nova Scotia, smoked whitefish spread, and Katz's pastrami hash. The kit also includes a signature coffee mug, an egg cream scented candle, and each gift includes your choice of half a dozen bagels, a pound of Nova, a pound of cream cheese, 8 ounces of smoked whitefish salad, a pound of Katz's pastrami hash, a Katz Deli coffee mug, and an egg cream scented candle. You can get it online at katzsdelicatessen.com. Pick it up at Katz's 205 East Houston Street, corner of Ludlow, or call 254-2246. A Mother's Day vodka and a rugelach combination from goldbelly.com. And they ship it from Bread's Bakery. And they bake their chocolate vodkas all day long. They use this incredible butter from France, Nutella, Belgian dark chocolate chips, and they spread it over the dough before braiding it into a vodka loaf. One's called the best vodka in New York City in New York Magazine. And for Mother's Day, here's the package. 1 chocolate vodka, 1 cinnamon vodka, 12 chocolate rugelach, and 12 special roselac rugelach filled with marzipan and rose water. Now, you can pick it up if you want at one of the New York City Bread's Bakery locations in Union Square, Lincoln Center, Bryant Park. Go to breadsbakery.com. And you know what appeals to me, of course, fattening. Waffles and chicken. Marcus Hot Honey Chicken and Cornbread Waffle Kit for 4 from the famous Marcus Samuelson's Street Bird. And they ship this chicken and waffles on Goldbelly. Again, go to goldberry.com. They marinate their chicken in buttermilk and hot sauce. And then they dredge it in a mixture that includes cornmeal, garlic, onions, paprika, and they fry this until golden brown and delicious. You can literally hear the crack when you bite into it. And it's served with a crisp cornbread waffle, hot honey, homemade pickles, and seasonal succotash. The kit includes 4 pieces, fried boneless chicken thighs, that's dark meat, 2 cornbread waffles, 1 pint seasoned succotash, bread and butter, pickles, honey. And for $50, you can add a brownie sundae, a chocolate brownie, salted caramel, almonds, and whipped cream. Minutes to cook. That's it. And it comes with all the instructions. Now that's a yummy Mother's Day gift that any mom would enjoy.
This episode is sponsored by Friskies, who would like to tell your cats hi. Now, if that didn't get your cat's attention, there is one thing that always does the trick. Just pour some Friskies crunchy food in the bowl and you'll hear those paws come running. Works every time. With so many Friskies choices, you can always bring your cats running from their secret napping spots. There's always more to explore. See for yourself at friskies.com or visit your local store.
The First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
Welcome, everyone, to the Joan Hamburg Show. And I had the best time reading Chita Rivera's memoir. I can't even tell you what a fabulous trip it was through all her adventures. Her memoir holds you by the hand and pulls you along with her. Chita, you did a great job because it was so real, and I felt like we were sharing everything from the time you were a kid.
Well, I didn't want to do it at all, and that's a wonderful way to express it. I took you by the hand and I led you through my life, and so it's for a person that is pretty private. That's an extreme way to look at it.
No, but. And you actually, with all the groundbreaking work, and I want to remind everyone that Chita, many Tonys, Kennedy Center honoree, the Dream Award, the Presidential Medal of Freedom, Broadway shows, the original Anita in West Side Story. I mean, I could do nothing but read credits. It goes on and on. But to have this kind of adventure, when you finished this memoir, were you sitting back and saying, that's me, this is my life? Or it just seemed it happened and I was there?
No, That's exactly the way I felt. I sat back and I was amazed at the reminding of my life. It was a great way for me to be reminded of what had happened to me in my life, and it was a great, as I said, reminder of where I had been and what I had done, and it doesn't happen very often that you get a second chance, and I was given a second chance.
And the people that you work with
my goodness.
Right, just starting out in those days, Fosse and Robbins.
That's right.
And you said you were private. Well, publicity and famous people, but I was like, I don't remember Sammy Davis Jr. You're having your affair. I mean, you had affairs. Honey, you were busy in your early years.
I wasn't that busy. I mean, I was sort of busy, but I met them on an artistic level, and grew into a relationship, and they were an advantage to my career. I believe that the career and the life go hand in hand,
right.
And besides, I feel that every single one of those people that I've met through my life enabled me to be a better person, and enabled me to be who I am today,
And to survive everything.
Yeah.
And I loved your alter ego. I think so many of us have it, but we don't pay attention. And Dolores, yours, I mean, sometimes really good advice and sometimes very hard on you.
Well, exactly. I mean, Dolores was brought out by Patrick Pacheco, and he reminded me that that she was there, but I pushed her down as far as I could at the beginning, and then I just raised my arms and said, okay, I may as well just accept her. And when I did, because I was asked by a critic one time, what made you do Can in Japan after your car accident? And I said, I'm nowhere near as nice as I should be. And that is very people know, and that is Dolores.
Yeah,
that is Dolores.
Always there.
Yeah, she's always there, and thank God she is. She stands up for me. She defends me, and she makes the right decisions for me.
Right, and things like that. You refer to that car accident, a terrible, terrible accident that amazingly did not end your career as a dancer. I mean, when you had that accident, it seemed, I'm sure even in retrospect, impossible that you not only survived it, but you survived it as a dancer, as a performer.
Well, I had a doctor that was absolutely amazing, and I treated him like He was one of my teachers. You know, I did exactly what he told me to do. I did it for him, and it was a performance, really. If I discovered if I did exactly what he told me to do, I would survive, and that's what I did. I survived.
You did, and
on a
well.
different level, mind you. I was a different person. I had to adjust to different. I had to adjust to different rules, and I was a different person. You know, we get one life, and we have to make the best of it.
Right, and that was a horrific accident. But you know, when you're kids, I mean, my mom sent me to ballet school, to tap school. I can't tell you, there wasn't a school she didn't send me to. But I couldn't do any of that. And here you were, you know, like a lot of kids and parents who want to give everything to their kids. You were going to all this, you went to ballet school, but you were the one who got the scholarship from George Balanchine. We didn't even, when we were kids, who was that? But you and your family sort of knew, and he looked at you and pulled you and knew. And it's amazing.
Well, I was given that opportunity, and he sent a scout down to D.C. to my ballet school, and he took one look at myself and Louis Johnson and said, I would like to see them up in my studio in New York. And we did as we were told. We got on a train and with our parents, and we went. And I was a good listener. I was a good listener and a good student, and that's what I want the kids to get out of this book. You know, if they want something, they have to be passionate about it. They have to work hard at it, and you know, they have to give their. If they're going to go as far as I went, they're going to have to give their life to it. You know.
But you had a mom too, Cheetah. Who understood and really got it. I mean, she knew you had, every parent or most parents look at their kids and say, oh, did you ever see anyone like that? But your mom sort of recognized that gift early on, and it wasn't like a bragging mother because she wanted you to, you know, do it and work at it. But she knew and recognized it and respected it.
Well, that's very good of you to recognize that, because I give everything to my mother. She sits on one shoulder even today and whispers in one ear. But she knew that I had unchained energy, and she knew just where to put it. Now, maybe she wanted to be a dancer herself, and she recognized it in me. But she put me in that ballet school, and that was where I grew up. You know, that's where I understood, and it was a language that I understood. You know. So.
And when you were in the Broadway production, the premiere of West Side Story, Anita, that was life-changing in many ways, because suddenly this local gifted young woman was known all around the world, and life changed rapidly.
Well, that's very true. And being with Jerry Robbins was a gift. Just doing what he said was an asset. It was knowledge that we couldn't get any place else but there with Jerry Robbins. And if he screamed at us, we took it. If he was nice this day, we took it. We, pardon me, we listened to him, and we did exactly what he said, and we were okay. Sorry. Okay. I'm okay now.
Good. Now, Candor and Ebb were a major part of your world and your coming of age. The songwriters, in fact, I was reading an article recently in the paper, and it was talking about 90 becoming the new 60, and which they, and all these people, including someone so important to your life, the composer John Candor, who
right.
How old is he now? 96 or
96 or 97?
Right.
One of the two, and he is as nice as he ever was. He's the kindest. He's the most gentle. I mean, he is, and he's the funniest. He sort of crawled out from underneath Freddie. He and Freddie were so totally different, and actually they had to be, because what Freddie would draw from John is something that he didn't have, and what John drew from Freddie was something that he didn't have. And I'll never forget spending the night at Freddie's and waking up to hearing them composing a song. It was just mind-boggling how they got it out, and it was just mind-boggling, fantastic. But I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that.
No, and all your incredible stories did well. For example, you gave us another side of Sammy Davis Jr., with whom you had an affair at a certain point in your life, but we couldn't stop reading all about that and about him as a person and as a talent. You depict this little guy who's like, you can't stop him from anything, and how good he was and talented.
Well, he was all of that, and he was not to be stopped. He was made to please people. That's why his craft. He played drums. He played saxophone. He played trumpet. He could tap. He could sing. He could act. I mean, he just there was no ending to his talent, and he did it all to please the audience, and that comes out in his personality too, and that's what attracted me, because when I heard that he was doing a Broadway show, I became Miss Snooty ballet dancer.
Right.
I said, what is he doing coming to Broadway? that's for Broadway dancers or singers. But little did I know that he was actually capable of doing all of it and showing us that he can.
And he did. I'm talking to Chita Rivera, whose new memoir, Chita, is available now. And you are going to come of age with Chita, with all these people who were not yet whom they ended up being, but on the road. People like Liza Minnelli, just one of the many people that Chita met on this road and hung out with. And you showed us a picture of a very complicated Liza, but very talented.
Well, I was always a fan, and when I got the opportunity to work with Liza, that was a dream come true, and there was so much to learn from her. Just watching her and being on the same stage as her. And when we did the show together, it was a great book, and it was two characters that lived with one another and learned from one another, and Liza wasn't at her best at that time, but she came out of it okay.
Right, but there's still a lot of breath holding as you know, as you're trying to do your thing. And then Chita, with West Side Story, started hanging out with Leonard Bernstein, Jerome Robbins, Hal Prince, Sondheim. It's incredible. Worked with Gwen Verdon and Bob Fosse, with whom she was married then, when it came to Sweet Charity. And even the original Chicago, one of the greats.
Well, Chicago was certainly one of the great shows, and it's still running today. Another version of it, but it is still running. There. The score is still the same, and basically the staging is different. But I never dreamt that I would be standing next to one of my idols. After watching her on television when I was younger, and admiring her then, and then many years later, standing next to her, dressed exactly the same as her, and we are two dancing as one. So that was pretty exciting. And
she was so generous, too, when a lot of stars are not.
Yeah, I mean, she really did call me into her room and tell me that I had some special qualities, and I should think about those and work on a character that would fit myself. And what star would take the time to advise a performer in the privacy of her dressing room? Not many that I know.
No, that's for sure. And I love reading about your daughter growing up, and when you would sometimes get a little nutsy with all the pressure on you, your daughter would say, "Mom, you're being Puerto Rican."
Well, she was saying you're being Latin. You're
right, you're
getting
Latino.
fiery. Yeah, you're getting fiery, and it was just a laughing moment, you know.
And your daughter turned out to have a lot of talent too.
Absolutely, she sings, she dances, she acts, and she looks like her father and me. I mean, it's amazing how parents suddenly look like each other when they have a kid. But she is very, very talented. Very talented.
And she was a great kid. And the two of you hung on and went through all kinds of things and did it and came out great on the other side.
Absolutely. We certainly did. We certainly did.
And that isn't so easy. So, Cheetah, at how old? You're almost, or you're turned 90, right?
Oh, my goodness gracious.
How did that happen?
How did that happen? I mean, that is. I don't even know what I'm talking about. You know.
I understand.
I really don't understand how it happens. It happens very, very fast, and you better get on the bandwagon before it's too late.
And do what you haven't you felt even after you finish your memoir and looking back at it, that with your alter ego, Dolores, you still accomplished everything and did everything that you wanted to do, and your mom lived long enough to see it. Yeah.
Well, that is so clever of you to decipher, because that means more to me than anything. That Mother brought me up, put me in ballet school, sent me to New York, came to my opening nights, and I will never forget receiving the Tony for A Kiss of the Spider Woman, and my mother having just passed away at that time. But she was there for most of it, and she was there to see it happen, and that's the least I can give to her, outside of the fact that being aware of her on my shoulder.
Right, and she is constantly there, and you're close, and the brothers were there all the times when you needed them?
Absolutely. Well, my brothers and sister are there, and one is in the actor's home. He's 90. I guess he's 97, and thank God he's doing well. And the other one has grandchildren, and so it's.
They're good.
They're good. They're good. They're good.
And you're good with all of this. And I remember once you were telling me about, getting through these strenuous and the shows and the dancing and the need to be really physically secure in your own body. And we were talking about food, and I can recall, like, Joan Rivers would never eat anything after a very early hour, like 1 o'clock or something. And
right.
That would be it. But you had also said that you're finished eating, except for some nice water or liquid or something, by what, 3, 4 o'clock?
Yeah, exactly.
Do you still do that?
Well, I'll have a cookie at 2 o'clock.
One cookie.
Yeah.
See, I couldn't do that. I see those cookies and they say, hey, someone's got to eat me. So,
oh my goodness, that's so true. But I had the one cookie. That's enough for me.
Uh-huh. I'm very impressed. And you don't overeat ever, right?
No, and as a matter of fact, when we get to dinner time, that's the laugh of the day. We look at each other and say, "What's for dinner?" And it's always a drag. It's always I'm just not much of an eater,
Because you were always a dancer.
Yeah. I'm afraid so.
I know. Well, I sort of envy that. I came up on the other side. If you can chew it, you're going to eat it. And we ate. But of course, we weren't working in Broadway shows and dancing our hearts out, and with rehearsal and everything. Do you still dance or try to dance on a regular basis?
Yeah. Well, I have a machine here that I ride every so often, and I have a physical therapist that comes in, and he's been off for the past week, but he went out of town. But he comes and he gets my daughter in shape and me in shape, and I don't do as much as I should,
but you
do. Used to, used to. But I still try to get it up.
and it works. You can still lift those legs.
Yeah, I can raise them. I'm raising them now.
Well, I can barely get out of a chair. If I sit in a comfortable chair, I keep saying, gosh, this furniture is low, but I don't think I can blame it on the furniture.
How old are you now?
Pretty old.
Okay.
Let's say, I have a friend who always used to say, between 40 and death. And I like that one.
Yeah, that's good. That's
a good one.
That's a good one.
Chita, I love the book, and you really did such a good job because it was personal. And, I read a lot of these books, and it's fun to read, but you don't identify. But we really went along with you on this. You did a good job. And
I'm so glad, and I'm so glad that Patrick Pacheco assisted me on it.
He's good.
He was, yes, he's very, very good, and he enjoys it as much as I try to. But I'm so glad that you found it personable, and you were in the same room with us.
That makes a big difference.
Absolutely. So thank you so much, and it's always so nice to talk to you.
Well, thank you, Chita. I always dreamed of hanging out with Sondheim, and you made it possible. So
oh, good.
Take care of yourself. We'll talk again.
Okay,
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. And I'm Joan Hamburg, and you're listening to WABC, and Chita's memoir is available wherever books are sold. You're going to love it. It's a great story, a great adventure, and it's all true. Okay, everyone, more ahead.
This episode is brought to you by Nespresso and Samra Origins by the Weekend Coffee Collection.
Introducing Samra Origins. My collaboration with Nespresso is a connection to my roots, to my mother, Samra. Coffee that hits the right notes. It transports you. Crafted with unique notes and bold, soaring flavors. Experience a taste that moves you. Nespresso and Samra Origins.
Discover more at Nespresso.com.
Finding a new job is stressful. But with Indeed, it doesn't have to be. Just fill out your Indeed profile with your skills, experience, and desired salary. The more you fill out, the better your matches will be. And hearing from hiring managers will be 2 times more likely. Relax. That's your Indeed profile sending opportunities your way. Indeed, the world can work better.
First Lady of New York Radio, Joan Hamburg. Entertaining and informative. Talk Radio 77 WABC.
I know. It's almost Mother's Day. And people are already asking us, what can I do? What can I get? Where can I go? Well, it depends on your mom. I like things like markets. So I would be really excited to go with the kids or friends to the Queen's Night Market. I can't resist things like that. And it has really good food. You're going to like it. Lots of different restaurants, lots of vendors. You can have dumplings, fried ice cream. Did you guys ever have that? You can have every kind of noodle or jerk chicken or delicious things from bakery. And in the market, you can find clothes, vintage clothes, photography, toys, stationery, soap, even things for your pets. I was reading that this market attracted over 2 million people, launched over 350 new businesses, and represented over 90 countries through the vendors. I get the biggest kick out of things like that. And I know you should too, and you do it. It's fun to go to. So I went on a weekend, on a Saturday during the day. It was free. You walk in, and there are just, the whole face of New York is there, and it really makes a big difference. So some of these markets are worth going to, and that's the Queen's Night Market you're particularly going to enjoy. Then theater. The theater is still the heart of New York, and Juliet is a play that you're going to love. Even plays that have been around forever, like Chicago, have a great cast. Now you can get a ticket to Hamilton or Funny Girl or MJ, the Michael Jackson play. Everyone who comes out of that play is happy. They love it. It's a lot of fun. And Six is a lot of fun. And it's a show that if you have a young girl or a teenage girl or someone, they would get the biggest kick out of that. So I'm going to recommend it. And Neil Diamond, A Beautiful Noise. We had one of its leading actors on the other day. We love that show, and you too are going to enjoy it. So try to take advantage of the city, whether you're going to the Guggenheim Museum or you're going downtown to the Whitney Museum and exploring the Chelsea Market, doing things that are different, that make the city part of yours. And that's the way I feel. Once you know your way around. When I was just a kid, I started my love affair with New York. I didn't grow up in the city, but my mom would take me in almost every single Saturday to go to the neighborhood playhouse, School of the Theater. And then when the classes were over, and they were, to me, who as a kid wanted to be an actress, oh my gosh, it was something to dream of. We would get in the car, we'd go in, I'd go to my class at the neighborhood playhouse on the East 50s, and then I'd meet my mom, and we would go to Schraff's. Any of you ever hear of Schraff's? A famous restaurant staffed mostly with young women who had come from Ireland, and they'd wear this perky uniform and aprons, and it was like a real lunch. You'd have Schraff's famous lamb stew or anything like that, creamed chicken. I just loved it. And then my mother would say, we're going to go to the theater. And it wasn't like now where tickets, hundreds of dollars. I'd say, which show? She'd say, I don't know. We'll just walk along the street, pick a show. And we picked a show. And that's when I fell in love with theater. I still remember as a young girl sitting, and it was quiet, and the curtain would go up, and I would hold my breath in anticipation, and you could feel the whole audience doing that. And then we would have our incredible theater experience. Today it's a little bit different because tickets are, if it's a musical, over $200. So many of us who are involved in theater and love theater have begged producers, please let people go to theater. They can't go to theater if they're going to pay hundreds of dollars a ticket, and they can't take their kids except on special days. I still get the biggest kick when I go to theater and I'll see a line around the block waiting for a ticket, no matter what the price is. And then I think, these people have spent so much money to go to the theater. They're buying their ticket, they're parking their car in a big overpriced garage. I mean, it's really crazy, but you don't forget, it's memorable. And when I was growing up, we'd come out of theater singing all the songs. Oklahoma, Finian's Rainbow, Brigadoon, all of them. Today, you sort of need a shrink to explain the meaning about what a plays are all about. Still, it's part of New York, and it's something you should do. And you can always stop into one of our old haunts, Sardi's, and feel that you are part of Broadway, and you are. And sometimes I'll just go to Sardi's and have scrambled eggs and bacon, or their delicious turkey sandwich, and look at all the pictures of the actors and actresses surrounding us on the walls, and think, this is my town. I belong here. I have a vested interest in it. And I know a lot of you feel that way too. And we on the air try very hard at ABC to make our lives and the information we're lucky to get and prone to part of your lives. So you're definitely our radio family. And anytime you have a question or you need anything, just feel free to reach out and call us. Anyway, thank you so much for joining us every Sunday. Yeah, we do the Joan Hamburg Show starting at 2 o'clock, and we introduce you to a lot of our pals from Cheetah Rivera on, and love to share it, and also get a glimpse at the fascinating lives of people, many of whom had tough struggles but made it here. And that old saying, if you make it here, you can make it anywhere, it's all true. So again, as listeners, we cherish you, and I love you being part of our WABC family. Stay tuned, lots more coming up. I'm Joan Hamburg.
The First Lady of New York Radio.
This is Ask Joan.
We've told you for years about Mark and Graham, one of the best online sites to buy personalized gifts in every price range. They offer colorful and timeless things, totes, bags, jewelry, linens, glassware, and it's all designed to be personalized. Mark and Graham, which you may not remember, is part of Williams-Sonoma and was founded in 2012 to create an online store where all of us can find beautifully crafted products that transform into one-of-a-kind pieces with a monogram or other personalizations. Now, Mother's Day is only 2 weeks away, so let's get ready to order. According to their website and their customer service department, you can order a personalized monogram gift until the 8th for delivery by Mother's Day. I might say if you can do it sooner, do it. And what I love about the company is for $5, you can have your gift beautifully wrapped. They have a signature white paper, And it's just lovely. And you can have an initial, a monogram, a single message, a special message. It's all there. And the products, not all of them, but most of them come with free shipping. Let me tell you what I really like for under $100. They have a leather tassel zipper pouch from $22.99 to $49, free shipping. Really good looking. And you can use it as a coin purse, a wallet. They come in small or large, bright colors, even patterns. And another thing I like, 4 outdoor stemless wine glasses on sale for $42. Again, can be engraved with a monogram or personalized with a name or message. Really, really like it. And the price is right. So a couple of things to think about that are very special for your special mama.